Okay, I believe we are live. Just going to hit record here. So good morning. Welcome. Another episode of Awakening Consciousness with Asher and Jesse. Asher is off today. I am very excited about today's guest, somebody I know personally from Ecuador, joined today by Mira Michelle. Mira, thank you so much for doing this. I'm going to read a brief bio here, and then we will jump right into it. So Mira Michelle is the founder and director of the Sacred Female Rising Institute and author of the upcoming book, Sacredize Your Life: The Ancient Art of Ceremony Meets the Contemporary Age. Mira's love for humanity and planet Earth have brought her to a profound place of advocacy for female kind and for Earth medicine. She feels that for humanity to truly establish peace, it is necessary to restore and bolster the innate worth and core values of the sacred feminine. In its most basic form, the sacred feminine is the life-giving force of creation, establishing a life balance between feminine and masculine values and perspectives holds a great power to reshape and heal our world. Mira Michelle works as a quantum shamanic coach for all genders and facilitates a variety of different events. She's available for quantum shamanic healing sessions, rite of passage and healing ceremonies, and facilitates workshops, retreats, moon groups, and the yearly medicine woman training. Mira also supports two main not-for-profit ongoing projects. The Cleanse Site Project is an in-house ceremonial-based work that cleanses land, sites, sacred sites of past traumas. The Codes for a Healthy Earth, created by Dr. Shelley Ostroff and Jan Golding, is a whole system healing and governance movement whom Mira has partnered with. She also partners with Unity Earth for the recent and upcoming Unity Consciousness movement in the global events World Unity Week, the UP Convergence, and the Caravan of Unity Europe. She guests on radio shows, podcasts, and other media enterprises. As a special mention in 2021, she was honored to be invited into a group work along with Vandana Shiva for the integral for the Integral City Humanity Rising platform. Mira Michelle has been a professional actress and model in California and Europe, as well as an executive English coach in Hamburg, Germany, where she also ran her own English language business. She studied communications and psychology at Sacramento State University and finished her bachelor degree at St. Mary's College of California. And let me just say, personally, again, I'm really excited, Mira, that you're joining us today. Mira is someone I've gotten a chance to work with a couple of times. I've had, some health issues over the years that I've been on my journey, and I've sought out a lot of people to help on my path. And you are probably the most powerful that I've come across. You work on a really profound level, absolutely amazing. So, somebody who I'm really excited to share your message, because I know how deep and profound it is. And I've had that personal experience. So thank you for being here. Thank you for what you do for me, for people in general, for the earth. Appreciate the time and all the rest of it. So do we want to start with a little bit? I mean, the bio is pretty complete, but do you want to talk a little bit about sort of your story and how you became who you are today?
Sure, I could do that. Before I begin, I would love to make an offering for all of us, the two of us sitting here, our families, and all of you that are tuning in. I thank you for your work in consciousness and on yourselves and your service to our planet and our humanity. So thank you so much. So quite often before I talk about sacred things, I like to make an offering. It's an offering of tobacco. Put it to my heart. I welcome you also to put your hand to your heart. Just give some oxygen to those wonderful bodies. We're taking a feeling break, tuning in break moment in this infinite here and now. Say thank you. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you, Father Sky. Thank you, existence. Thank you to the sacred source in which you pray and devote your time and energy. And we're thanking our families, our dear ones. We're thanking our brother Jesse to open this portal of connection. And to our ancestors, our past and future ancestors, we thank you in presence and in great love. Ahe, Ashe, blessed be. I'm placing the tobacco here on Mother Earth. Wait. Okay. We did it. Woo! First prayer of the day. Oh, wow. Yeah, so that question was, how did I get to this place and into those skill set, right? Nothing I planned for, right? I don't think anyone who grows up in Western civilization or so-called contemporary society sort of prays, may I become a shaman, because oftentimes we don't know what that is. And what is that actually, you know? But I had two significant spiritual experiences at a young age, right? Which I couldn't frame at all. One was quite intense, and the other one was sort of intense too. And as a child, the first one was at 9 years, and the second one was like at 12. And I knew that they were there as I grew into a young person and then an adult. And I always remembered, but I didn't, I was like, what was that? You know, what happened there? And when I began to meditate at 19, um, my teacher that I had then, when I mentioned it, she said, let's go back and revisit. Let's jump the timeline and go back in time, which is very easy for us humans, actually, very simple. We've just have forgotten how that works. And then I began to realize that there's something else than what I'm experiencing in daily life. There's something more, there's something rich, there's something other. But that's the only way I could frame it at that time. And so that sort of kicked me off into the spiritual. I began to research, read books, meditate. And usually we begin to meditate or sort of go into these realms that seem to be other from than our daily lives, even though it's absolutely not, but it seemingly is, right? Um, I I saw that I'm a part of this. How whatever that looks like, I don't know. And it felt so good that I just continued and continued. And at some point with my teacher, she invited me to do a energy medicine like training with her. She was an incredible healer. And I said, sure, why not? Because it felt so good. And I was trying to pass my math exams in university. And I read in an article that if you meditate, that could help. And it absolutely did. So that was my, selfish reason. I need to pass calculus. I'm terrible at this job, you know? And before I knew it, I could sense things in other humans. And I had no idea why that was. How is that possible? I could read chakras, tell them what their boss's name was, what issue they had, what they need to work through. And at the end of, I actually stayed with her for 4 years while I was going to university and working and things like this. And she asked me to join her core group. And she had a healing center in the Bay Area. And I was at this time, I was about 22. And I felt into that. And I was like, well, no, I can't do that. Because even though I have these skills, I have no life experience. I mean, who am I to begin to work with other humans? And I haven't really gone deep enough into my own process. So I said no, and I went on to do inner child work and therapy. Was an actress, as Jesse forementioned, and was doing method acting, which is really getting to know your instrument and your body, which is incredible, incredible work. And all the time going to therapy because that's what method actors do. They go to acting scene class and they go to therapy, right? And and I was always leading meditation groups during that time, and began a goddess group because for me it was important to know what's my female lineage, so on and so forth. And then it's at some point those two worlds collided, right? I couldn't live there without going like once a week to the Self Realization Fellowship, which is at Yogananda Paramahansa, who at that time was my teacher, right, my master in spirit, because he was no longer in physical form, and going to the ocean, like what's behind Jesse there, to ground, to feel myself, because this other world was taking me out, seemingly, it was my personal experience, out of the grounding, out of the centered me, into a bubble, right? And I had the best meditation practice of my life because it was 5 years every single day. I had to meditate to live there. That did not become significant to me until a few years later. But at the time, it was a need, so I followed that need. Thank goodness, because who knows where I would have been now if I didn't meditate while I lived in Los Angeles, California, Hollywood. I've seen what happens to people. Oh my goodness, that's not a laughing matter actually, but I love humor is a great medicine. Yeah, and then at some point these two worlds collided. And I'm gonna share this experience now because Jesse mentioned before about timelines. We want to get into the subject of timelines, and timelines work together with the dimensions also. They can do, right? And they do. So I had a week where I was very disillusioned and feeling like the energy of depression and numbing. And I really didn't know what I wanted with my life anymore. Right. My career, I was working in Los Angeles. I was working as an actress. I was successful there. And, but it just got more and more an unhealthy feeling. Don't want to go into that, but that's basically what it felt like. And it was the week that John F. Kennedy's son died in the plane crash, right? It was that week. I'll never forget it. And I was so upset. I think so many of us were so upset about this death, right? And or what actually happened there, you know? Hmm. And so I was questioning all the time, what is it? What do I really want to do? What do I want to live this life? And what is it really about? And da 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 da. Da. My brain was like, my field was like, and a girlfriend was visiting me from North California, where basically I grew up. And we went down on Melrose Boulevard and we parked. And I was just feeling a strange vibration. I couldn't really clock it, you know, how you're feeling these vibrations come through, you're sensing them, but you can't really grab them and say, what is that actually? So I was sort of feeling it in the background. And we parked, she got out of the car, and I went to get out of the car also. And I opened my door, and then I was stuck somewhere in a loop like this. It was seconds, but the seconds were long, like, And I'm like, oh my, I actually said out loud to myself, my gosh, I'm just sitting here. Why am why am I just sitting here? Because it was nonsensical. And then in that precise second, uh, a white speeding van came and clipped my door because, like I said, I had opened it to get out and rammed my door into the body of the car. The whole car jolted, the window smashed, I had glass all over me, and it kept driving. I came back around to see their window was broken. The guy who was in the passenger seat was just bloody all over his face. I was in shock. And I did get out of the car then. And my girlfriend was on the, she'd gotten out before and she was literally crouched down at the end of my car. She was so terrified that my leg had been pulled off or something like this. People ran out from the shops because the impact was so loud. And they came and got me and sat me on a seat there, a shop owner. And I was kind of, and I sensed my skirt. I was wearing a long skirt. And in my skirt, there was a rip from the bottom, of the back of my bottom all the way down to my feet. Well, I never moved out of the seat. Right. There was absolutely no reason why my skirt should be ripped open. Right. And then what happened from there was also very, very intense. And what I realized is that I was sitting in between two timelines, right? Or dimensions, because this felt like both. And one in which I did get out of the car and I was struck by the van and thrown, and hence my skirt was ripped open. And one in which I stayed in. So they were so close that I had some of the physical effects of the first timeline I stated. But however, thank goodness, my spirit, my soul chose to stay in this incarnation, right? And then I had a very clear answer to my questions of what I wanted to do in my life. And I packed up my things and I left Los Angeles. It was a soul calling, right? And this is quintessentially many times a preparation for shaman work, even though it took me 10 more years actually to really fully say, yes, I'm going to do it, 8 to 10 more years. And that's a little bit of a backdrop of how this energy and these frequencies start to come to show us, and also in a way like to train us, to help the noggin help the tricky mind open. Yeah.
So from there, I guess your path sort of began as your work. And I've described you as sort of this magical, interdimensional shaman, right? That's how you appear to me when we work together or talk. It's like you're able to traverse the dimensions easily, and then you're able to sort of bring other aspects of the non-physical through easily, right? This is a skill you have, or that you've developed. Do you want to talk a little bit about that sort of subject of the physical versus the non-physical, and just kind of how that works? I guess perhaps in relation to, because it seems to me from my understanding and my knowledge, it's like everything really begins in the non-physical, and then it can manifest in the physical, or does manifest in the physical. You seem to have a greater ability to traverse that. I'm curious if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Bless be, brother. Well, yes. everything does begin in the non-physical. We are as much non-physical or energetic beings as we are physical beings. It's the program that puts more of our focus on being physical, right? In the material. That's been a very hard program for us for at least 500 years intensively, right? Um, the thing is this is an or innate and organic skill set that all of we humans have, right? We all have it. And some of us just have this impulse to go more towards it in that lifetime. There were some doorways that got open. One of mine was, I believe, um, because I traveled a lot as a kid. My father was in the U.S. Air Force, right? My mom's English, Irish, so I had and I had these three different main cultures, and we were traveling all the time. So, oh, the common denominator is change. Change is natural. Change is real. Change is always happening. So that was hardwired into my system. And then, so keep that there in the hologram. Let's put that right there. Okay. And then another part is sensitivity. I have seen how much our, again, I'm going to say it, organic and innate sensitivity to our beings has been suppressed through conditioning. We need social conditioning, right? We've got to have it. We need a filter to be able to, because we perceive so much more than we even know. And so with the dumbing down of our sensitivity does not allow us to sense the timelines and the dimensions like we can organically do. Right. And that's very important. So when, like, for instance, we take plant medicine, we can open up those doorways to experience dimensions. We humans actually shift through dimensions very easily, believe it or not. So after doing so my medicine is consciousness. So when I go with people on journey, consciousness is the medicine, and it allows those dear ones to begin to sense and feel right there in real time. Oh, that's a different dimension. Oh, that's a different. Oh, I could feel it. I can feel it. It's there. Oh, I sense it, you know? And that's what was instructed in me over years as I became closer and closer and closer. And the thing is that we are so magic. We are all so magic, and we're all so powerful. And to be able to shift into that level of embodied feeling, we got to do some digging. We got to set ourselves free a bit. You know, the inner child work is so necessary. We have to do it. I'm sorry. I know it's painful. As I laugh. I have to laugh because it's so bloody painful. We have to do that. And we need to look at the cornerstones of our perception, right? So consciousness is the cure. I'm a healer, but consciousness is the greatest healer. I'm the conduit of consciousness. I'm sitting in the position of a healer, but the healer is consciousness, not me. I have developed skills that I can allow that to be more, to inform more. Not me, not a personality. So when I leave the identification, the personality on the doorstep and open up this mainframe, which we all have, to allow that higher part to be embodied, then the consciousness can come through and inform, and it's pure magic. And this takes us to realize, I'll just give a homework right now because I'm a shaman, medicine woman. Medicine woman shaman loves to give homework. What are your top 3 core values? What are your top 3 core values that you can tell me in like that? that you feel a deep energetic connection to. Like, for instance, could be honesty, accountability, kindness, kindness, heart intelligent kindness, not nice, not being nice. That's a program, right? I could spend a whole day on helping our dear ones to shift between this pattern of nice and into the much more powerful underlying frequency of heart kindness. It's different, right? So, what are your top 3 core values which guide your life? If you don't know them like this, then you don't know what your top 3 values are. So go into that and start allowing that to inform, to resonate in the body, and that will awaken something, right? And then when we awaken that part, we get more energy, we flow more, even our bodies flow more, right? We start having fun with that, and we'll get some challenges too, but it'll be easier to flow through. So these are two, well, that the values and the core uh, connection to consciousness. What is consciousness for you? What does it mean? How is consciousness informing you? How are you informing consciousness? How much do you allow yourself to feel into the body? Here, 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 maybe. We got less and less humans that get down to here. And then here. What? I can feel down to there. And then all the way down to the root. Consciously, it took me 15 years. Now, it doesn't mean that's going to take you 15 years. That means it took me 15 years. I'm from a different generation. All the generations get faster, right? If your parents or your dear ones around you are resonating deeper, then you will automatically, as a child, and you grew up in that resonance. And however, for me, it took me 15 years to get my embodiment all the way down into the power chakra. Whew, that's a whole different reality on planet Earth. Because then you can begin to really sense nature. Many of us are sensing nature and communing with nature through the mind, right? We feel it in the heart, and we go up to the mind and we connect. That's beautiful. It's the first step. When we start getting our energy down, I'm doing this with you now. Maybe many of you are probably feeling it. Keep going. Right down into that seat. Now, some of you just felt the shift that happened, as I can sense you. Yeah. Then you will have a totally different experience in nature. She will speak to you. And that is what she's asking us to do, actually, especially right now. So that's another cornerstone. So we're on the third cornerstone now. We're setting up our house. We need strong pillars. And that is your connection to nature. And it even somehow feels funny just saying it like that, because we are nature, right? We absolutely are nature. And that here, there is no other. This is not other. Nature's not other. Nature is. We are nature. So this is one of the giving our consciousness, our focus, our awareness, and speak and feel nature as our friend, as our relative, can change the world like that. Really. This is not an over exaggeration. Literally, if like 7 million people woke up tomorrow and just began to convene in this way, within 7 months to 14 months, we would have a gigantic shift on the planet. Right. So those are 3 cornerstones I've just given. I hope that basically answers the question you gave to me.
Yeah. So, you hear it's gotten very popular, and I think rightfully so, right? But it's gotten very popular, this idea about vibration and the law of attraction and sort of creating your reality through vibration.
Mm-hmm.
When you were talking and going through that exercise, it seems to me that that's really sort of the core of what people are always talking about. It's like
Mm.
you're actually shifting your vibration, right? In
Mm.
that sort of being in your body to that degree.
Mm.
Um, and then if you shift your vibration, you're going to experience different things, right? As you described. And then that sort of seems very related to what we discussed very briefly of timelines, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is that kind of how, is that what you would describe as how timelines shift and how we traverse timelines, or even as a collective, how we choose, a timeline, like a more positive timeline? Is it sort of through that work that you described an aspect of, which would then shift the individual into a different vibration and therefore different reality and therefore different timeline? Is that kind of the what we're talking about?
Yeah, basically that's how it works. Basically, um, it's okay. We can address this in a conversation on Zoom, going live. We can work to address this, right? Um, but for our mind to really grasp it, um, it's more efficient when our body grasps it first, right? Because the mind has got all sorts of concepts and all sorts of ideas of what we are, right? And a lot of those concepts and ideas of what we are need to be dispelled. Half of it out, please. And so I could do the best I can to try to explain it with a vibrational part in there, a resonance. Okay. And so we are ourselves many layers of intelligence, many layers of intelligence. And with that intelligence is a resonance. We all know that when we meditate, right? We come Our brain waves are registered. That's shown in scientific studies, right? Our bodies feel different. The oxygen comes into our cells more effortlessly, right? And our intelligence is firing and connecting to strands, to realities, to also experiences, also past experiences, also experiences of our ancestors. And there is actually then no more past and no more future, right? And when we come into the state, then we can begin to sense the timelines, so to say. And I mean, they're limitless. There's a lot of talk about 3D and 5D, right? But from where I've seen it, my understanding, my connections to the higher beings, and also the earth beings, and also the intergalactic beings, is like we're really working right now in like these 11 dimensions right now, actively. With There's infinite amount of material out there. And that's why I often say to myself, what do we really know? We have many forms to work to understand what we are, what we're doing. We have science. Science is also working to understand, also bringing in form, to be able to look through form as thought forms, to be able to look into this existence, look into this grand, massive creation. So what I work to stick with is consciousness, because it is so much bigger than we can imagine. And no one and nobody and nothing has the designs of which to explain what that is. That begins to annoy me somewhat sometimes, once in a while, even though I stay pretty much unannoyed, because through the years I've become quite unattached to identifications and things like this. However, that anyone thinks they have a design or form on what this is, please sit down and take a deep breath and realize that is not possible, and that is not who we came here to be. Right? And if we really need to have the direct experience. And that's why in the end I chose the shaman path. Also because of my shaman ancestors that came up the timeline to visit me. Because for me, it's the one that stays the most open and the most connected to nature. Right? So, yes, my dear ones, you are a timeless, limitless being of absolute love and wonder. And yes, we can heal with so-called miracles. Those are technologies, actually. They're energetic technologies of which we are now beginning to relearn. And I've had a few of those experiences in my practices, where, oh, I just shifted physical matter and that tumor's gone, or, oh, this has happened that way and that person's completely healed now. And sometimes it's like a trek, and it takes time because the consciousness, the psyche wants to work in that way for whatever reason. But who are we to try to find the reason of someone else's mystery? That's not our job. Our job is as healers and as dear ones is to open the space and be present and ask great questions, like inquiry questions. So ask inquiry questions of existence. Hello, existence, I'm here, I'm showing up. Show me something about timelines. I want to feel those. How do I feel those? Right? If I need a little support, I'll go to someone who also has felt them. This is our ancestral and human way of showing spiritual practice, and that's through being in the moment and feeling the resonance of that, which then becomes worthy, which then informs you. And so you get it body, mind, and spirit, and also in a grander way through that deep connection we have to all, which we've sort of learned to cut off. So you know what I mean by this? Like when I was working with one of my wonderful teachers, Chief Sunny Reyna, Whirlwind Eagle Wolf, sun dancer, Vietnam War veteran, he would say, "Come here, girl, come here." And I go, look, 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 stand there. I love the way sun dancers work. I love that male grounded heart, real energy also. And he goes, sing this song, sacred song, 10,000 years old. And then leave you. He wouldn't say, now here's a long meta theory about how you sing a song. And here's your introduction. And here, then you do this and this and this. And like, feel. And then you'd get something. And maybe you would want something more, But then it's like about trust. Trust that you were guided. Trust that you are in the right place at the right time, because you absolutely are. And there's no way you cannot be, not in this system. So put that in there. Oh my goodness, if I could breathe that love and that attention to every single human soul on this planet, and that we would believe that we're wanted here and that we belong here. It makes me feel emotional because I love our humanity so much. All of my sisters and brothers. That's what gives me the power to do all that I'm doing, all seemingly at one time. And I'm like Durga. My arms are like, tuk, 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 yeah. And for us to know, to really feeling know. What a thing. What a thing. That would be the true healing on our planet. is that we got that one here. Oh, yeah, I trust. Okay. When's the next part coming? It's coming at some time. It's coming. Believe me, it's coming. Stop messing your mind in that spiritual work. Stop it. It's coming. Get your head down to Mother Earth. Put this down on the dirt and get humble. Humble medicine, you know, and then stand up again and go, go, go. Yeah. And then you'll see those timelines and those dimensions. And it is a trip. I know that my brother Jesse, this was a real a massive opening, and it's the spirit, it's the healer allowing and the healee allowing. And so when those dimensions showed up during his work, they were big waves of announcing. Now, do I know why they showed up in that? They don't show up in that way every single session. I mean, they're there. Oh, it was there. But in this situation, they were there and they were barking, you know. I'm here. So I'm like, okay, we're surfing waves. Whoa, look at this. And that's magic. They were barking, huh, brother? They were like,
I mean, that's how I
flow.
experienced it.
I hope that flow I was just on is serving you all. Yeah, and serving, and you're feeling that vibration come through to you, and it's igniting something. Because if you're watching this, you're already ignited, right? You're already in there. Bless be.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, you know, you're like at least the way I experience it, you're like transmitting a signal, right? It's like this vibration that you're transmitting, and I receive it. Like I feel it, and it does things to me, and then I'm so used to being in the mind, I don't have anything to ask from that level. You know, it's like
Mm.
it's like then I'm gonna then spit out some mental question, which then you'll do an artful job of taking back into this really deep place and you know, transmitting another signal. But
Mm.
it's really beautiful to see. I mean, it's helpful as well. To me, I'm sure to other people are having similar experiences, but I obviously can't speak for them. But it's really beautiful to see someone who can drop into that place almost on at will, right? Or on, you know, on call, like, or maybe you just live there all the time. I don't know. But, you know, for me, and I think for a lot of humans, and maybe even you in your experience, in your journey, I don't know. But for me, is, and probably will continue to be such a sort of lifelong, or just a overall, that seems to be the largest aspect of my process, is
Mm.
getting embodied, you know, getting into that place where there is that natural just sort of being, and not all the mind chatter and all of the like weirdness, and then
Mm.
all the stuff, because at least for me, that ends up reflecting in my body, right? So I, you know, I get all weird in my head, and then that reflects, you know, my stomach hurts, or my back hurts, or my knee goes out, or right.
Mm.
um and so there's these, yeah, it's really it's such a blessing to be able to talk to
Mm.
someone who can sort of transmit this, you know, this vibration of not only being so embodied, but being able to share that in a way that I think people can receive it. At least I feel I can. um the next question I want to ask, which, you know, obviously take it any direction you want, but we're in this, you know, we are in this sort of confluence of prophecies, right? I think you would probably agree with that. And, you know, part of that is this sort of great split, and this sort of timeline split. And I'm aware that there's sort of infinite timelines. It also seems like there seems to be two sort of distinct ones at the moment, within that. I'm wondering, I mean, I guess from what I'm understanding of what you're saying, I guess, first of all, it seems like the work that an individual can do to positively affect this is really just fully embody more than anything else. So that's interesting to me. I sort of want to note that. But then, I wonder if you have thoughts around sort of where we're at in this process, or just thoughts in general on this sort of split slash ascension process, perhaps, that is taking place, um, on any of that stuff.
Whoa, brother. Make a small question.
Just a little, just, an easy
Whoa,
one.
whoa, whoa. Okay, yeah, I definitely would speak to this. It's something I'm working on right now. I'm doing a free 5-part series on the Great Awakening, which we're in right now. Um, First thing I want to speak to is I want to answer something your spirit spoke to just a moment ago, and is we are always embodied. You are embodied right now. Every single person is embodied. We have a body, we have spirit. And so, when I said before, we have many, many, many layers, right? And as we unlayer, as we let go, actually, letting go is a bit tricky. I could get into that word as a healer, but just for now, we'll say let go. It's a bit more complicated than that. But as we unlayer, as we evolve, as we understand, and all of these powers are mixing, they're always working together. It's not like how the mind likes to compartmentalize, right? It really is a weave. It's a weave, right? Then we will begin to feel more and more and activate and benefit from our embodiment. So it's not like you're not already embodied, you are. It's just that there's many layers over the sense connection. And so therefore we do not feel it. And if we do not feel it, we do not focus on it. And if we do not focus on it, we don't have awareness for it. Okay. Now another part could be that we can get kicked out of our bodies. We can, through trauma, part of our spirit gets kicked out of our bodies. You can say it in a psychological way. Our psyche gets suppressed in a certain way. And then so that part of our psyche, which comes with energy, which comes with vibration, right, gets stuck somewhere. So that needs to get brought back in. And that's like when I work with people who have been to plant medicine works, which are definitely important and worthy and part of our human process for thousands of years. However, sometimes the facilitators are not as embodied as they could be. And they cannot sense when someone leaves their body and gets shot off into the stratosphere and go and fetch it back. And then that person ends up with a psychosis. Right. So there are parts of our spirit that go out and they need to be fetched back. Having said that, what I just said about we are always embodied. To work on those layers, my darling. One layer like an onion. It's something similar to this. And that leads me into let me just take a moment. Feeling break. It's really good to be here with all of you before we begin this. Oh, I'm feeling a lot of your power chakras. Remember, there is time, but there is no time. So I feel through that. Whether you're watching now or you're watching 5 hours from now or 10 hours from now, it's irrelevant. Oh. And I just really want to support you bringing that into your awareness, that fear that's being carried it's a big process right now, planetary wise, in the power chakra. It's like we're all getting like the punch right in here. And then we exhale, but not all of it's coming out. It's that punch, part of that punch is still sticking in there, right? So that's what I'm feeling. And the spirit just wants to tell us that you're okay, that you're good actually. And to please feel that punch and breathe deeply into it. And then hold it, hold it. It's okay. And now let it pass through. Okay. Just one moment. Excuse me, I have to spit when I'm working through energies. Okay, darlings. And then I'm just sort of giving the seat right now. You know, every single human being has a throne. We all have our thrones. We have our special seats. And breathe right down into that throne. Really want to sense this groundedness before we get into the subject. Oh, I know it's painful. And so, you know, we're all carrying that as a collective. It's one of the reasons why I began the Cleanse Sight Project. It's especially when I was living in Europe for 13 years. We'd go around to all these. I'm still working, so just keep breathing with me and I'll talk and give you a little bit of entertainment while I'm getting you down there. Keep going. And we go around to these places that were traumatized through violence, through war, through unconsciousness, and we would heal them in groups and in circles. And it was very successful and also personally enriching to be of service in this way. Okay. So Jesse asked this question, which is so very relevant for our times. This is my personal feeling and perspective and overview, my personal, okay. And that's what we're also coming to. Right now, our own inner authority, to speak from our inner authority. You know, some people might say, well, you're not an expert in X, Y, and Z. How can you talk about that? Well, I'm becoming an expert in LIFE and SBIRIT. So I'm going to speak to it. And those that feel the resonance are gonna have the impulse to feel into that. And those that don't won't. So that's what we do. Okay. Yeah. I think many of you can feel how that feels more. There's more space there, perhaps. As a species, and I don't usually like to use this word, but I'm going to use it now. We have to go through this process. Now, for quite a long time, we have had and we still have free will. I love the quote from Carolyn Mace. She goes, we're guided down to the apple we pick at the supermarket, but yet there's still free will. Okay. So as a species, we have been given ourselves and our higher spirit and our soul choice, and through the great system of which we live, the intelligent system of which we live, a lot of time to have this process individually. This process of transformation, this process of awakening, this process of becoming embodied, however you want to define it with your words and what you resonate to, this process of becoming centered, this process of ego releasing with God, Goddess, right? This process of being balanced with earth and sky, this process of humbling our egos just enough that we become self-confident from a place of integrity, from a place of love. We don't have to feel love every single minute and every single second. That's not what we're about. We're dualistic beings. It's not about going around going, I am love, I am love. Yeah, sometimes you're going to feel that way. And sometimes we're going to feel like, I want to someone's neck like this, you know. But we have the center there also, and we're able to self-contain and breathe through, and then learn and then release and go on this journey. Mother snake, right? And now some say because we have not embodied enough by this time, that's what some people say. Some say we've been held back and manipulated, partly our species. Therefore, we are actually not at the place where we could be in this. Kind of the same, but different, right? And some say it's all absolutely in perfect alignment, right? We all need to feel into that individually and see what we come up with. However, what is, and we are here now, right? As the sun comes out and says, yes. And that is the individual personal process has become collective, and it always was. So that's a great teaching right then and there, right? We've all been put on the same spot, in the same, basically the same spot, in the same moment. We're all having a deep core experience, profound deep core experience on our planet right now, all at the same time. Now, when has that ever happened before? Right? And so this is showing us what? What would you say? What is this? What is this experience showing us? Really simple. They're showing us a very deep, profound truth that's always existed and it can never not exist. What could that be? That we're all connected. So now we're really getting it in our face. Yes, you're all connected, because now we're feeling that we're all connected, but we don't necessarily like the feeling that comes along with that, right? Because it feels uncomfortable. It's scary. It feels tragic at times. Feel anger, sometimes rage. I'd like to go into some boardrooms and knock a couple of heads together, you know? That's what the mama and me would like to do. Like, how can you make that decision for our humanity? You're part of us. You're one of us. What is wrong with you? But then take that anger, that rage, transmute it, and put it into the passion of your awakening and supporting the awakening of others, right? That's what we do. So we are really being pushed into a moment in time. But yet we are being really, really corralled in a way to awaken together. To realize that if someone doesn't, if I feel this feeling, what I feel now, that perhaps I don't have enough, or I don't have enough food for my children, we feel that as strongly in ourselves as for another person halfway across the planet, right? And that's what we're moving into, because it is time that we realize we are not separated. And now we're getting you've been in the sweat lodge? We're in the sweat lodge. We're under pressure. We're cooking. And what are we going to do? And this is why partly my feeling like this time when we've come through the new age movement, it's like this bliss, let me just bliss. If you're not in bliss, then you're not spiritual. You're not. Ooh, let's move out of that paradigm, please. We're human beings. We are intelligent mammals that can give and receive consciousness. And we are responsible for this house. For this house. Yeah. And so I have also perceived, Jesse, those two timelines you're speaking of. One, and the one we want, and the one we are more and more quickly moving towards, is that humanity awakens. The good in every single soul awakens. And that will feel something like a tsunami of consciousness and love and understanding sweeping around our planet. That doesn't, that will not get broadcast on any media channel. Well, it will just happen like that. Right. And the other timeline is that we will have to have a lot of stress and misery until that arises. Right? And but either way, it will come. It will come. I prefer the first model. What do you prefer? You see? And here's something that a lot of people are not going to like to hear. But I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it the way I see it. And it's not easy, folks. But until we begin to realize that our main work is consciousness, it is not our job. It is not how we make money, right? It could be part of it. Those two things could be intertwined. I'm lucky mine's like that. Thank goodness. Blessed be. I'm very grateful. That the time and energy, what we give our time and energy and focus to, we shall manifest. So we have to again, sorry about that have to. We don't actually really have to, but it would be helpful if we did. Realize that our awakening is as important as what we do for a living, because that's the main thing people attach their worth to, is as important. So I tell you what, down, let me see it. No, let me watch my words. Make the choice to say, I don't need 2 cars. Right? Make the choice to
I missed that. I don't need to what?
I don't need 2 cars. If this is the case, if it's a financial thing, make the choice like I need a house that's beautiful, that feels good. It's a bit smaller. Because that's really enough for now. Because in 4 or 5 years, that will come. I don't need it now. What I need is my sanity. What I need is my peace. What I need is my health. What I need is a good relationship, which I have time and energy to invest in with my children and my loved ones. I need that more than these physical things that tell me that I'm enough. You're already enough. We're all already enough. We're absolutely 100% valuable and enough, standing naked on the mountain with nothing and taking no step. You are a beautiful being of light and love, made by the source vibration which created our gorgeous planet. That's enough. More than enough. And this is the huge shift in paradigm, what is happening now. You know, when my partner and I, we had our children, we said, okay, either we want to spend more time with our kids or we're going to work like that. So we said, okay, downsize, 1 car. I'm not paying gas, not paying insurance, not paying for the metal. Also, it's helping the planet. That was definitely a part of, okay, I want to work a little bit more than half time, just a little bit more. And he's the same. Right? So we put that focus when the children began to come. Right? And we all can do that. Okay, let's go and live together with this other beautiful family for 2-year plan. We're going to plant together. We're going to share our costs. And we are going to develop communication so we can do that. We're going to develop skills. Because right now is one of the most important times we've ever lived. Because it is now, so I get to say that. Cosmic shaman joke, but it is so, my dear ones. And we are slated on the blackboard of Earth School, awakening. So let's please get ourselves in the physical position of which we can give more time, energy, and focus for that. And take ourselves out of this system which preaches to us constantly we're not enough, so we can buy the products and keep that system running for others that become enriched, greatly enriched. Now, this is not to say that there should not be a free market. There should be a free market with integrity. So I've just wrapped this picture, right, with some with spirit and also physical life and reality and the choices we make. And again, touching back to that when we began, the values we have, because we're changing from a me world into a we world. And we need to take it down into our feet to live it. That's the difference. Did I say enough about the timelines for you during that?
I mean, we've been going for more than an hour here. I could literally do this all day with you. I have 1,000 more questions, but I want to be respectful of your time. And we've been going quite a bit here. Is there stuff you want to share before we wrap up? I personally just want to say, it really is truly an honor to spend this time with you. It's beneficial to me. I almost feel like I'm stealing, a free session or something. But it's totally beneficial to me, and I would love to even explore with you. Is there a way to expand your sharing? If can I assist with that in any way? Because it seems like you're able to give vibrational answers that I think a lot of people are looking for. I certainly am. And yeah, it's just your wisdom is deep as well. And it's, again, I could ask questions all day and literally be very happy doing this all day. I know we both have other commitments, but I want to yeah, just give you a chance. If there's anything you want to plug as well, if there's any, place you want to direct people to, or I don't know if you're looking for, any sort of that stuff you want to talk about, or any other themes or subjects that we haven't touched on that you want to mention before we wrap up.
Okay, yes, thank you, brother. I am at the moment doing a free 5-part series called The Great Awakening. And you could check out the website and get the information. It's miramichelle.com. And this is what Mother asked me, and I've been working on it here and there for about a year. And she was like, "Now, do it now." And so I'm just jumping in there, and it's pre-recorded. Every session is from 20 minutes to half an hour, and there's 5 parts. We just had the first part. You can catch it on Facebook or on the website or on YouTube. The second part comes out today. It's the collective, and then there's the personal, then there's the children, and that part 5 is the Great Awakening. So these are steps, and then we come to number 5, which is, I think, right after Easter, around Easter. I thought that was incredible energy to have it in that vibration of the sacred day, right? So what we can do is share consciousness. It's not necessarily about me, because believe me, I have enough work. It's not like I'm turning down work, but I'm pretty packed. However, share consciousness, share Jesse's videos, share Mira Michelle, share the people you feel a resonance with, and spread consciousness. This is one very simple way that we can support the awakening on our planet, and we're all responsible for that. We are responsible for that, darlings. That's just the way it is. And we've got to stand up to the plate and, do what we can do. That's why Jesse's doing this for free. That's where I'm showing up for many podcasts I'm invited to, plus this free series, plus, 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 plus. Okay, so that's that. This is my book. It's called Sacredize Your Life. It's not out yet, but it's coming. And for me, it really is what I have deeply get emotional. It took me 10 years to write this book. It's like through motherhood in the corner. Right. Um, um,
That just slightly more than half time, probably.
totally. The sacred vibration. When we enter those holy realms, and they truly are holy, and they're just as ordinary and normal as every day also, and it opens, and everything is like, the air gets thick, your body expands inside, as the universe inside, right? And you go, whoa, whoa, you feel completely held, completely aligned. You know, your knowing goes so deep, and you're like, I'm here. Whoo, whoo. This is what we long for, to be that connected and that free at the moment. And I call it sacred. It's the sacred. And I thought we need a revolution, an evolution of this sacred vibration inside the hearts and souls of people across our planet. Because when that comes, that's it. There will be no more talk about blah, blah, blah. That will just be. And we will create the new structures, create the new earth. But we need to experience again and again this vibration, which has been written about through, thousands of years. So let's feel about it. Okay. After the 5-part free series, there is a online course, and it's called Liberation Tools for the Great Awakening. And that is, we're not taking participants yet, but in about a week, we will open it up for registration. And there you will get the tools in the moment. You will feel it and embody them and then practice. So that's basically the top 3 things that I'm working on right now, with more coming. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for your consciousness. Thank you so much for going your way in integrity and light, because we're all right now, we're in service for the future of our children. That's what we're doing. So please give your time and energy, your great love to that service, because they're our future ancestors. Right. And with that, and when we join forces in this, I'm going to just say it, war on consciousness that we're presently experiencing on planet Earth, then there will not be any war anymore, because we are the ones we've been waiting for. Sorry to sound cliche, but it is really true. And we got this one. Thank you, Jessie. Thank you so much. Thank you for having Mother Wata behind you. And can I ask you a little favor?
Yeah.
Go with your beautiful young ones and take some flowers out to Mama Wata today. And sing a sweet spirit song, and just for this work we did today, this is a big blessing for us all to feel together and to feel empowered. And then just let the little ones with their innocence say, yes, this is for us. This is for our future. Get busy, you adults. Stop acting like children.
Right as you said that, my 3-year-old walked by.
Yeah, of course.
Up like, oh.
Of course. There you go. Divine timing. It's all connected in this weave of life. Thank your kids so much for giving Papa the time, the permission to be out here with us. Give them a big squish from us and from Mira. And we'll see you again, and we'll continue. Maybe next time we'll get into some of the mystic stuff. Oh, last thing, my dear ones. We're having that Jupiter-Neptune conjunction on the 12th. It's a big one. It has the capacity to bring so much light and vibration, sacredness to our planet. So please plug in, get into your circles, get your drums out, get together, and just bring it in with the focus from the third eye and from the tummy intent of yes, 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 new earth. That's it on the 12th.
Thank you so much, Mira. Can you please text me the various links and anything that you want posted in the comments in the description? Can you just text me those so we can that goes out as part of the video?
Will do.
Again, Thank you again, Mira, for joining us today. We would love to have you back anytime. I'd love to have
Thank
you back
you.
every day if you want to do it.
You.
But yeah,
Let's
really,
be,
really
brother.
enjoyed the talk, and
You
appreciate
too.
your time and energy and spirit and all of it. So thank you.
Oh, darling. Mm. Thank you for all of us rising together. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Ciao. Mhm.